You know, there's something to be said about a short and simple setup that gets us into the action as quickly as possible. That's what we get with Speed Limit, a game that wastes no time turning a random, unsuspecting train passenger into the hero of one of the most intense games you'll play this year. It's the kind of game that may start out as a side-scrolling run-and-gun shoot-'em-up, but eventually tosses you into everything from a car, to a motorcycle, to a fighter jet. It's an over-the-top and often unpredictable roller coaster ride that is so drenched in old-school charm that you won't even care that the trailer gives most of the best parts away. This is the story of something extraordinary happening to an ordinary guy. You see, things get turned upside down when a crazy man on a train drops a gun into our unsuspecting hero's lap, immediately turning him into the city's most wanted fugitive. He's forced to run for his life and survive an obstacle course so insane and outlandish that even Ethan Hunt might consider the mission to be impossible. This harrowing story is spread across 10 punishingly difficult stages that all feel like individual mini-games. We start out running and gunning through a train full of cops with itchy trigger fingers, which is soon followed by a race through the city streets in a car, an intense motorcycle chase at night, and an exciting bit where our unnamed hero pilots a decked-out helicopter. Speed Limit is great about not only ratcheting up the scale with every new level, but also the stakes. If you think the man is in way over his head in that train car, then let me tell you, just wait until you get a load of the final boss. And did I mention that the game is incredibly tough? Not that I'm complaining, of course, since the extreme difficulty is baked right into the allure of Speed Limit. If you're hoping to complete all the stages on the first try, then think again. Yeah, this game is gonna humble even the best players. The frenetic pace and constantly changing obstacles means that you're gonna die. A lot. Probably hundreds of times. Memorizing and learning from your mistakes is just as, if not more important than simply playing well. And the game rewards your hard work and dedication by upping the ante with each passing level. In other words, Speed Limit is not for the easily frustrated. Thankfully, the developers throw us a rope in the form of checkpoints. What seems impossible at first quickly becomes doable when you realize that you only need to perfect one section at a time. When you inevitably die from a misjudged jump or a stray bullet, the game will immediately rewind to the last checkpoint and let you try it all over again. This helps, it really does, but it can't be used as a crutch. The checkpoints aren't as close together as you might expect, so you'll be replaying and memorizing large chunks of the level before moving on to the next thing. I guess what I'm trying to say is that Speed Limit is still a punishing game, even with the checkpoints. Now look, maybe it's because I'm from the old school, but I like this kind of challenge. Yeah, there are sections that are definitely going to make you mad, but I had fun the whole way through. The gameplay is simple yet effective, the variety of levels is incredible, and I love the pixel look of the adventure. All of this works on me. Speed Limit just does an excellent job of honoring the classic 8 and 16-bit games of our childhood, while simultaneously giving us something that feels brand new and of its time. That said, I do have 2 complaints about the game. The first is the end boss, which not only requires you to memorize a lot of different attacks, but also needs you to be a little bit lucky. I spent close to half of the playtime trying to beat the final battle. Part of the problem is the vehicle you're in control of, as well as the camera perspective. We can also point to the enemy bullets getting lost in the background and the game crashing on me. The rest of the levels were stable and presented no problems, but I counted 5 different crashes while fighting the final boss. I don't know, this really leaves the player on a sour note at the worst possible time. Oddly enough, the other problem I have with Speed Limit is that it ultimately doesn't go far enough. Yes, it does an excellent job ratcheting up the intensity with each new level, but it also left me wanting more. I feel like the game ends right before it crosses the line from being outlandish to just plain ludicrous. Given how silly the whole thing is, I kinda wanted them to push the envelope even more. But they don't. which only left me dreaming of a longer and maybe more outrageous version of Speed Limit. Of course, none of this really matters in the moment. When you're playing the game, you're running, jumping, driving, flying, and even speeding through one incredible action scene after another. It's like all the Fast and Furious movies crammed into one over-the-top pixel package that just keeps getting more and more outlandish by the level. In fact, Speed Limit is better than Fast and Furious because nobody ever talks about the importance of family. Actually, now that I think of it, they don't talk at all. Even better. The few games released this year will be more intense than Speed Limit, a game where being at the wrong place at the right time turns an unsuspecting passenger into the world's greatest action hero. This is a punishingly difficult throwback game that finds a way to ratchet up the excitement by tossing the player into new vehicles and impossible scenarios. Sure, it could stand to be a little bit longer and the final boss leaves us on a sour note, but Speed Limit delivers when it matters and gives us a thrilling pixel-clad action game that you'll never forget. Just be prepared to die. A lot. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is the most intense game you've ever played? It could be intense because of the action or just something else. I'm going to go ahead and let you define that word. Oh boy, with so many great games to choose from, I can't wait to see your picks in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back later this week with a brand new episode of Electronic Gaming Monthly's Best and Worst. We may be done counting down the years, but there's one thing that we forgot, and I'm gonna make up for that with an exciting new episode that you didn't see coming. Make sure and tune in for that. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.